Hello people, so in today's video I'm going to be talking about what books I have made so far for my KDP and what my publishing aims are as we get into Q4 and the Christmas season. And of course within this video I'm going to be revealing the book niches that I'm going to be targeting for Q4 and this Christmas season, so be sure to watch this video till the end. I've had a lot of subscribers recently as well, so if you are new here, then I want to extend my welcome to you. My name is Ben, and I like to bring out videos like this on my self-publishing journey and all the hints, tips, and tricks that follow. So if you haven't done so already and you think this content may be useful to you, then be sure to hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. And of course, if you haven't done so already, then join my Facebook group. We're a community of self-publishers. There's over 700 of us now within this Facebook group, all with the mutual goal of finding success through publishing online. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to join. But guys, without further ado, let's get into the meat of this video, which is what books I have made from KDP. So just a bit of a background story. There's been a lot of people asking, what books you publish. So this was the comment I got one day ago. Ben, what do you do most? No content, low content, or what? Now, in fact, this is probably one of the most common questions that I get. What books do I publish? Do I do just no content? Do I just do low content? Do I just do high content? And stuff like that. And I'm sure it's a really common question for other people that do KDP and YouTube as well. So I'm going to answer this one. This is going to be the video that answers it all. It's going to break it down, and I'm going to show you what books I'm going to be targeting towards Christmas, what I'm going to be focusing my energy on. So as you can see, there's more comments like this. This one was from some time ago, but you get the same picture. This one says coloring book or notebook, bro. So I thought I'd include that because that was quite funny. So I'm going to categorize it for you guys. So I'm going to put it into 3 categories to begin with. I'll break them down a little bit more later on. But for now, we're going to be doing no content, low content, and high content, and how many books I have in each. So I generally refer to no content as books that you can literally get a template for the interior for and just upload it as it is. Obviously you put your own cover on it, but then you can just upload it. So things like this would be notebooks, sketchbooks, graph paper, and more. Now, it goes without saying that the majority of the books I publish onto Amazon are no content, and this is just because of the scalability. It takes the smallest amount of time to publish one of these books. So because I have the template for a notebook ready at hand already, thanks to Tangent Templates, I literally just go and make a cover. I do some quality research from the niche, I design it, and then it goes onto Amazon, and then I do that cycle again. And that, in fact, doesn't take very long. I think the longest part of it is actually just researching the niche and creating quality designs. So it's really, really scalable. You can get this done to, 20, 30 a day if you're doing notebooks, for example. So that's how come I've got so many notebooks and no content books out there. So that's the figure for that one. I've got about 1,620 books in total at the moment. So this is just a reference figure. So you can see that around 4/5 of my book on no content. So if we go now onto low content. So low content I categorize as activity books, coloring books, and more. Things that you can't just take a template for, put a cover on it and upload it onto Amazon. I mean, you could, but you'd be treading the line of copyright infringement, because you can't just find a coloring book interior and then upload it as it is onto Amazon, because that would be identical to someone else's, right? Like, I mean, even if you find it on Creative Fabrica, you'd make some changes or something like that before you put it onto the Amazon marketplace. So that's how I define low content. Maybe it's not the way other people do it, but in my mind, that's how I've been defining it. So it'd be things like activity books, things that have a bit more of a complex interior. So how many of these books do I have? And I have around 300 of these books. These are slightly less scalable. These may take more time to create. There's obviously still ways to, outsource it to reduce the amount of time it takes to create a coloring book, for example. But generally speaking, it will take you longer than making notebooks, sketchbooks, etc. So I have less of those. And the remainder is higher content. So as well as non-fiction and fiction, I've bundled it together with things like trivia books, quiz books, joke books, etc. So things that have more worded content inside. And this sits at around 13. Well, it sits exactly at 13 because it takes me longer to make these. So I've been keeping count of how many I've made. I should probably get off the 13 mark soon because 13 is quite an unlucky number. So probably go ahead and publish a few more of those. But yeah, so that's the breakdown of that. It total comes to 1,613. But this is always increasing, as you'll see from my book reports a little bit later on as well. So I've created a graph just to show you visually how this all looks. I've sort of broken down the low content and no content a little bit more because I want to add a few more details in there to show you a better picture of what my portfolio looks like. So as you can see here, again, no content still dominates it, and no content here referring to mostly notebooks, sketchbooks, graph paper, composition books, and all that sort of stuff here. That's all into no content here, and that's the winning pillar by far. It's still sitting 1,300, which is actually crazy. And then you can see here coloring books, activity and puzzle books I've bundled together. Log and guest books, you can see that's the second highest one. This is the most scalable low content book, I'd say. You can get an interior for a guest book, have that looking nice, and then slap a few covers on there and repeat for different niches. So it's the most scalable in my opinion of all the other ones. Also diaries and planners are very scalable. But yeah, I've sort of been slacking with diaries and planners a little bit. Coloring books, you can see I've not published a lot at all. I have around 10 coloring books as we stand at the moment. I have more activity and puzzle books, which I've been focusing on more historically than I have with coloring books. And I have a few high content books, which I've been doing as well. Now, I wanted to create a cool pie chart as well, but unfortunately some of the headings were missing, so I made that bar chart instead. Bar chart looks slightly cooler, but I couldn't find the way on Canva to put the heading for these slices here. You can see they're missing. So, but yeah, this would have been the pie chart version of it. You can just see how much no content dominates compared to the rest. If you took out log and guest books as well, you'd see the rest of them make tiny slivers. Coloring books at just 0.6%. That's nothing, but actually very, very interestingly, if we scroll down, you can see that my income from coloring activity and high content books make 40% of my income. Now, if you look at the graph to the left again, that's astonishing because coloring books here are sitting at around 10, activity puzzle books at 30, high content at 13. That adds to around 50. So I have 50 books making 40% of my income, and the other 1,550 or so books are making 60% of my income. So that just goes to show that the 80-20 rule is just in full effect here. So that's really, really interesting to see. I thought I'd show you that. And we're going to have a look in practice now what this actually means by looking at my book reports. So book reports is going to show you what I have earned this year. So you can see that I'm on 27,600 for 2020 so far. And it's been really interesting actually, because you can see that my royalties have been so consistent. I mean, for the last 5 months, I've been within between $3,500 and $4,000. So that's actually very, very astonishing, considering that some books really took off in, say, May and then really died off by September. I've just been publishing a lot, so the books that have been dying off have been replaced by new books that I've made. So that's why it looks so consistent. As you can see, I'm going to show you a couple of graphs as well if I keep scrolling down here, you can see that some of my books, this is one of my activity books. This really took off with the coronavirus lockdown in full effect towards the end of March. You can see that correlates on this graph here, where it really takes a cliff dive, and obviously the lower it is, the more sales it gets, and it was astonishing. I think this book got to a BSR of like 950 in the UK, like at its peak, but as it went on, you can see that it slowly petered out. So it's like what do you call them, like a heart graph, like no, like a seismic graph that measures an earthquake. You can see it starting to go up and down a little bit more and more and more, and you can see that it's returned by about August to pre-corona levels. So that's a very interesting graph to see. You can see a lot more of these graphs as they go along as well. Again, same picture here, same scenario. This is a coloring book, so this was sold really well at the start of the lockdown, but then by May, I don't know why by May, I think people just got bored of this niche by May, but this was very successful for a short while. This one, again, this was an activity book I released during the lockdown. It did really well to begin with until around the end of June, so you can see that the BSR, it didn't really sell for days at a time afterwards, so that went downhill. And lastly, this is a sketchbook aimed at kids. So this again did really, really well over April and May. So to sort of combat these books that are not selling so much because the lockdown isn't in full swing anymore, I've been releasing new books, and that's why everything looks so stagnant. But yeah, let me talk about what I want to do now for quarter 4. I think this is the biggest part of this video, the meat of it. What are my aims for publishing over Christmas? So as well as just having these aims for the sake of it, this is sort of more of an accountability thing. This is like a law of attraction. I'll talk about mindset in another video, but essentially if you think about it, then you're more likely for it to come true. You can Google it or do whatever, but essentially I'm going to say this, it's like an accountability sort of thing. So I'm going to have 2,500 books live, and I have to make sure of it by December. So that means I have to add another 887 books to my portfolio by the time Christmas comes. I want to have a 50 to 20% ACOS in the USA and 10 to 15% ACOS in the UK. Now, these are not super ambitious figures. As you can see at the moment, I do already have these figures. Look, 18% exactly in the USA, and we have 12.5% in the UK. If I just give them both a quick refresh as well, I think it'll be the same. Yeah, 18 there and 12.5, so that's gone up a little bit, so 12.5%. So reason being is that I know I'm going to be spending more over Christmas on ads, because obviously there's a greater chance of return on what you earn and stuff, so people are more willing to spend money, and I can fully anticipate my ACOS is taking a dive a little bit, because I'll still want to have the same advertising spot, but other people will be willing to pay more money for the same spot as I will. So inevitably, I think the figures might go up a bit. So as long as I'm in this ballpark here, 18% is good. If I can keep that on a month-to-month basis, 12.5%, again, I'll be very, very happy with that. Now let's break down the books that I'm going to be focusing on. Now, I'm going to be focusing on these books that I've listed below here. So activity books, I don't like them as much as a few other books, but some activity books fire me up. Now, I think that there's going to be other books that will have the same potential there, but might be easier for you to make. I've seen a couple of activity books, and they generally have a range of designs in them. Some of them do really, really well on Amazon, by the way, but they look very, very complex, and they look like they will take you quite a few days to make, which I've begun to notice. And that's why I don't have that many activity books there. I'm on 5 at the moment, and I want to get to 20 by Christmas. So that's a plus 15 activity books. I do have employees, so that will help the process. And obviously I can outsource things with Fiverr and Upwork and things like that. but that's still quite a bit of a reach. So if I can get 15 new activity books, that'd be amazing. But yeah, to the next one as well. I think this is the one that I'm really excited about, guys. This is puzzle books. Now, puzzle books, I've only got 15 at the moment, but if I can get to 100 by Christmas, that'd be amazing. Now, I like puzzle books over activity books because they're easier to make. You can literally make a Sudoku puzzle, a word search puzzle, a crossword. There's so much software on the internet, on websites, that allows you to make these puzzle books within a fraction of the time that some of the activity books could be made as well. I mean, some people might publish activity books and have found a really quick way to do so, but for me, the type of activity books I make with a load of different tasks and a load of different activities within the book has been a bit slower. So I really do like puzzle books. I'm just going to show you as well, guys, about some of what the activity books look like on Amazon. So not activity books, puzzle books. So if I just type in puzzle book here, let's just have a look at some of the BSRs that really show up. You can see adult activity books. So this one's got games, puzzles, and that's what I'm saying. Look, this has just got a whole host of stuff inside, but it's got a really nice BSR there. That's amazing. If we keep scrolling down, large print word search, look at that. So this is ranked 731 in books. Actually, that's a pack of 6, so let's leave that. USA Today, 400 Dumbo everyday pains. If I type in word search books then, so if I do word search, for example, up here, let's look at this one. Look, 1,516 word search with over 500 puzzles, very easily done. That's not an issue at all. Word search fall and winter, that's already got a good BSR, and we're in October, just the start of October right now, so that's not even bad at all. 1,000 word per puzzles word search. You could get this off Fiverr, guys. Look, 1652, and that's ranked 12,000. You could get 1,000 puzzles off Fiverr for, you know, I don't suppose you'd be paying much more than 1652 for a job like that to be done. And that's volume 1 as well, so I'm guessing they've got more than one book there. Look at this, it just keeps on going. Look at the ranks for puzzle books here. 19, that's nearly $20, and that's ranked 11,000, guys. So puzzle books, wow, they get a big heart from me. I'm honestly going towards that. I'm gravitating towards puzzle books over activity books right now, guys. So I'm going to try and make 85 of them. Obviously not just word searches, we're going to make a range of them. But yeah, I think that's fired me up probably the most out of all of them. Colouring books, still firing me up. Colouring books, that's supposed to say colouring books on the end as well, but there's so many colouring books again doing so well. Like if you go on Amazon, you can type in anything, and I've got a good video of it actually. It should be in the top right of this video. I linked it in there for you. But it's finding niches for colouring books, and honestly, there are so many untapped niches within colouring books, honestly, guys. So that's something I want to do. I want to make 20 colouring books by Christmas as well. Trivia and joke books, I want to add to that as well. So I've got 7 of them at the moment. So most of that actually is quiz books. I've got 1 joke book, but most of them are quiz books. I want to make 5 more of these. That would be really nice. Get that to 12, because it's kind of a festive thing. It's a nice little gift as well. So it does take a bit of time. That's the only downside to these, but I'll be able to make a few more, especially towards Christmas time, because the return on investment sounds good enough to me. Now, diaries and planners, again, that's really good. Maybe not for Christmas itself, but for the new year actually. So if you make a 2021 planner, for example, then you know, that's got the best chance of selling just before 2021 starts, right? So I'm going to get a few of these up as well. This is really scalable. This is really easy to do. You've got the interiors from Tangent templates for these diaries and planners, so that's tip top. Just get that going, and then nice. And of course, last but not least are your notebooks. So it goes without saying that over Christmas, notebooks are huge. You've got the scalability behind them, and your notebooks have a chance of taking off. If you publish, the more you publish, obviously, the more chances you'll have of them taking off. Having said that, though, it's important that you create quality designs. There's definitely an equation to it. If you're not creating quality designs and you're just going for quantity, it's not going to work so well. So please don't do that. Aim for quality and scalability as well. Try and do both, and you'll have a good chance of getting at least one notebook that really takes off. There's a really good publisher for notebooks that just shows you what I'm talking about. I think it's Blue Ridge Art, something like that. Blue Ridge Art. Let's type them in. So yeah, look at that. That's what I was talking about. So honestly, how scalable is this? It's a black background with white writing. If we type that in, it'll show us. Yeah, look at that. 327. Honestly, I think every one of their notebooks have taken off. Look how many reviews each one has got. It's actually very just crazy, but let's type that in anyway. And I don't think my Helium 10 will load because I'm on incognito, but honestly, like the BSR on this one is just nuts. 29,000 already, and it's the start of October, so these guys are just making money. So guys, just go with your notebooks. It's the most scalable one. It's the easiest one to do as well. I will make a video if there's enough demand for it. Let me know in the comment section below on how to find designs for these notebooks and everything like that. Get a nice flow of creating going, and yeah, you could really have an opportunity with your notebooks there. Now, this, just to sum it up, I've highlighted puzzle books and notebooks in red because those are the ones that, you know, getting me pumped the most when I think about them. And obviously activity, colouring, trivia, joke books, diaries and planners, they're all very good. And you can see down there that if we add everything up, that's how we're going to get 875 new books and basically to the 2,500 mark. So this is my plan for Q4, guys. If we scroll down as well, this is what we're not going to be doing here. So I've left out logs and guest books because these in my mind aren't very seasonal. I might be wrong again. As I do my niche research, I might find a log or a guest book that's very seasonal and has a very good opportunity. I'm obviously not going to just miss it out for the sake of this video. I'm definitely going to be publishing it as well. But from what I've seen, I'm not seeing too many log and guest books. There's a really good one, which is like a workout log, and that would fit in very well for the New Year's. But it's not, so that's sort of an exception. But generally speaking, log and guest books I would not be particularly looking for. And it's the same with journals as well. Journals, actually, probably some of them will do pretty well for you. I mean, like gratitude journals might be a good present, for example. But I'm not really into it. And I have a feeling that people do well in gratitude journals tend to be people that that have, you know, like an Instagram account or a YouTube channel sort of speaking about this sort of stuff. It seems like if you post a gratitude journal now with a template, it doesn't do as well as someone who's proclaimed to be like a, you know, a mindfulness sort of person. So it's not my sort of thing. You can do well with journals. Don't let what I say obviously limit you. This is just my opinion on these gratitude journals, for example. But it's not something that I'm going to be spending too much time on because it's not something I get as much as, say, puzzle books or colouring books. So that's just my opinion on them. High content, I've got 6 of these. Again, this is just my opinion, but I think high content is going to take too many resources and too much time. I need my money to spend on ads to keep my books afloat during this Q4, so they've got the maximum potential, maximum amount of chance of selling. If I then go make a high content book and spend money for a ghostwriter to make my high content, then it's going to leave me short-handed when it comes to spending on ads. And I need all this money that I can get to spend on ads because I know the cost is going to go up for Q4. So that's why I'm leaving high content. There's no other reason. I'm sure there's some seasonal high content books outside of joke books, trivia books, for example, that will do really well if you look for it. But it's just capital resources, guys. And between ads and high content, I'm picking ads. So that's why I'm not going to be focusing too much on high content. And kids educational as well. This one is interesting because this is just from anecdotal from last year. I had things like letter tracing books, handwriting books, etc. They didn't sell too well. And it's kind of logical when you think about it. I mean, which kid wants something educational as their Christmas present. They want a toy or something fun. They don't want like a letteration book. Maybe a few kids do, but I think that's the reason why mine didn't do well. It did well during the lockdown. It didn't do very well over Christmas. And traditionally speaking, there's no increase in sales for letteration books from what I've seen over the Christmas period. So I wouldn't focus too much on that. I mean, as a evergreen sort of thing, go for it. But just for Christmas, it's not something on my list. And the last one, it's very obvious. I'm staying away from copyrighted stuff. I won't have any of that I know of. But I'm not going to be publishing copyrighted stuff either. And that's obvious. And I suggest you don't as well. On that note, I think that is everything I've got to say, guys. So these are everything. These are the list of books that I'm going to be publishing. I think I've broken everything down quite nicely. If you still have any questions, then please feel free to ask them in the comments section below. Let me know what you thought of this video. If you liked it, then give me a thumbs up and stay tuned as I bring out more videos. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care.